Hi, this is Elizabeth from Friends of Motion, and today I'm going to show you a very quick and easy way to make these fans or retracting screens and keep them procedural so that it's easy to animate. Then at the end, I'll also show you how I textured it. Let's jump in. We are going to have 5 ingredients. First ingredient is going to be a helix. Then we'll have a formula spline. We'll also have a lathe NURB. Lathe is here, lathe. And we'll have a spline wrap. There we go. So let's first hide the spline wrap in the lathe just so we can see what's going on. The formula is going to be 20, 10, was it 40? I think it was 40. And the length is going to, this was 0. This was, I think that's about right. Then I want to use the spline wrap to wrap on the helix. So it'll look like this. And let's change the helix to feel a little bit more like a spiral. So the end radius could go in a little like that. And then the next thing, we want a lathe to stretch from the beginning of the spline of the formula spline. So we'll have the lathe, lathing, not even a word. The angle is going to be 0. And the scaling is going to be 0. Look how beautiful is that? It almost feels like a seashell in a way. To make it into a seashell actually is just to move the scaling, the movement a little lower or higher, like that. Voila. Now, if you want to animate this, you're going to use the spline wrap part. So it's the to and from. So you can animate like this, the other way around. And just by the way, if you want something that feels a little more like a flower, you will use, I think it's this one. You can just make it way bigger. Yeah, I mean, the possibilities are really endless. One little thing that is also very nice, if you use a cloth NURB, Shift C, and you add that to the lathe, you'll see that you can add a nice thickness and it'll create more realism. And bulging will make it feel more like a seashell, even more like a seashell. Let me also quickly show you how to make this foiling reveal in the gradient. If I jump back to Cinema 4D, I have a very simple scene. One area light, the top, then I have a dome light. And the dome light, I got the HDRI from the content browser. If you search for HDR in media, and it's this one at the bottom, Studio 21, and you just drag it onto the texture. So a very simple setup. Make sure you are obviously in Redshift render settings. So if you go to render settings, make sure you're here in Redshift. And then if you don't see the render view, just go to Windows, RS Render View, and it will open up and you can just drag it wherever you want to place it. First thing I'm going to do is getting a Redshift standard material. I'm adding it to the lathe. What I always like to do immediately is just taking the roughness, move it all the way to the end so that there's no reflection. I'm going to add a ramp to my color by right-clicking on this little triangle, not the triangle, the little circle, connect node, texture, ramp. And then my ramp is going to be double click on it and it's going to start with like a bright red and then a blue, purpley color. And yeah, I think that's good enough. So now we want the foil, and the foil, it's a very quick cheat. I just look for materials, delete the HDRI, metal, and I think I use this metal brush. So we have a metal and we have a color now. And I just want the metal, everything here. So select all, copy, and then paste in here. While it's selected, just drag it to be organized. So now we have the metal in here in our gradient shader. And I want a mask to be used to mask out the ramp from the foil. So with that, I'm going to use a ramp. The ramp needs to select both ends and make that a step ramp. And the beginning is going to be white. The end is going to be white. Make that white. And let's add, right. And I'm going to use like that. I'm going to use a material layer, mix the two. So I want the standard color to be, let's break that. I want that to be the base color. I want the foil to be the second color. And I want the gradient to be the mask. And then I am going to plug that back into the output surface. Let's see. That looks like nice. And then obviously you can change you can move the ramp up and down. Let me just move this render view here in the middle. There you go. There you have it. Let me show you some other ones I've done. This is one I made before R26. I think it was R21. Just playing with fun gradients. Then I had another one where I worked with different shapes to sweep the lathe and also using some other colors. And this is where I started with my exploration of using that foiling effect before I got to where I'm now. Right, so I hope that helped you guys. Till next time, thank you.